Hey guys, this is Rob speaking, and today we are back into making the Diablo 2 Countess Run Simulator. Currently sitting here in Game Maker Studio 2 after about 11 hours of work so far, and we have come to a place where we were able to test it for the first time and actually find runes in air quotes. And last time around I made sure that we have most of the data structures we need. There are still many to be added, I'm sure, because of all kinds of settings and stuff. But I think we have what we need right now to make another little test. And that test is going to be... it will need some data structures which we can later on discard, which we will not need anymore. What I want to track is how many runes we find per run, and then do a simulation, an actual simulation with 1,000 runs or more, and see how many runes we find per run on average, and more specifically how many 1 drops we had, how many 2 drops, how many 3 drops, and then compare that data to the data I have here for normal, nightmare and hell difficulty, and see if that adds up as I would expect it to. If that is within the margin of error. And that's not a given. Like last time, it's like, whoopsie poopsie, just a factor 3 off. Yeah, that wasn't so good. But I found it. Didn't see any low runes because the mid runes were having such high drop chances that it was never getting to the low runes. Anyway. So today I'm going to do that first, and that gives me ample time until I do the next episode to mull it over if we find something, in case we find something that is really different to what we see in patch 1.14 if you do live runs. I will have to think that through and work it out, I guess. A little bit of inspiration time is needed then, but if it's more or less accurate, then I think we have a winner on the hands. So, yeah. Okay, let's do that first, this little test. And then, once that test is done, I'm going to start implementing some UI. Not if this test is successful or not, doesn't matter for that. So, today, test case, a big one, with lots of Countess runs. And then we do UI implementation. Probably going to design the button fundamentals and try it out with the main buttons on the side. Just design that UI, because that is static for all panels. Yeah, just some buttons get deactivated and shit, so that needs to be implemented. Anyway, yeah, let's get started. Test case. How do we do that? So we do have our little script. That doesn't need to change. What does need to change though is that I need to comment out the error. The debug message. Otherwise we get spammed when we spam the script. Okay, just a quick for loop here for 1,000 runs. It's 1,000 times calling that script, and it is doing so within 1 frame. So that is something that will change. That will change later. I could already make it such that it doesn't do that on... Oh, that's... Okay, if I press space once, then it does that. Okay, that's pretty massive. Alright. There will be some chugging going on, I guess. Oh, wow. Okay. I think that was pretty quick. So what I did here is just to add a data structure for the number of drops, starting at 0, going to 6, and that is the maximum number of runes you can find. So what happens here now is that these are set to 0 at the start on creation, and then in the script I'm having a new variable that is set to 0 at the start of each run, and whenever a rune is found, that is plus by 1. So drops plus 1, drops plus 1, and then at the end of a run I'm indexing the field of drops for the number of drops in the data manager, and add 1 to that. So if we had 2 runes dropping, then this drops number should be 2. So then the number of drops index 2 is upped by 1. Yeah, that should give us a nice overview. So now what I need to do is take this and craft a nice output message at the end of the 1000 runs, right? Okay, I think that's done. So now after the run is completed, the 1000 runs are completed, it will display how many we got of each one of them. I think I'm going to make 900 instead, because that is the wrong number. There we have it. 900 instead, because that is... Oh, let's do 300, because that is exactly the number I had in hell difficulty. So yes, should we try it out and see if it fails miserably and crashes? No, so far it works. And there we go. Oh. Okay, something's wrong. There's definitely something wrong, because you don't get 28 zero drops. That is way too high. That's interesting. And free drops are way, way down. Okay, that is definitely not what we are seeing in from my data. So now it's actually very helpful to have the empirical data just to straight up compare what you would expect. So the chances are... Oh, the chances are a little bit too low. We do want to have a majority of 2 drops, and then about-ish the same 1 drops as 3 drops, and more 4 drops actually than this. Yeah, let's see. So this is the ratio we expect. More 1 drops than 3 drops, but the majority should be 2 drops. But one really good thing I noticed is that after pressing the spacebar, this was basically coming up after a few milliseconds. That didn't take long at all, and that was 300 runs. So performance-wise, this seems to be pretty solid so far. Well, there's not much that could hinder performance here. It's just data management so far. But anyway, how do we want to tackle this? Yeah, let me try out something. If we let's first try out what happens if I don't divide by 3, because that might be weird. Where it's in the script, yes. So dividing by 1 instead. Divide by 1. This one can be divided by 3 because it's total. Yeah. Okay. It still doesn't make any sense. So yeah, 3, it should be divided by 3, but divided by 1? Why? Why divided by 1? Alright, anyway, let's run it like this. So stop and run again. And see what comes out. And that, boom. Oh wow, okay. Now it's basically impossible to get any 1 drops or 0 drops. And we only had 5 4 drops. But 5 4 drops is accurate. That is within the realm of what we should be seeing. So I'm happy with those. I am happy with those. Although maybe even a little too high. Or I was just unlucky. There we go. Boom. Oh, we're getting... Wow, this is so sensitive, man. This is so sensitive. We have way too many... Do we have too many 0 drops? Let's check. Let's counter check. Yeah, too many 0 drops. Oh shit, that might point to a somewhat different mechanic. Maybe it randomizes first how many slots you have available for finding Countess runes, and then gives you a chance for them. Although that would give you even more... yeah. That would give you even more 0 drops. So that can't really be it. Or the chances are staggered? Okay, let me try something. Let's divide by the slot number. So on the first one through, it would be 1. Then it would be 2 and then 3. So that makes it a lot more likely to get at least one rune. And it makes it much more unlikely to get 3 runes. So maybe... Whoa, okay. That's out there. Let's try it out. 3 drops, 2 drops. Okay. And... Oh! 0 drops are now in the right place. Oh, this is looking good. Oh, looky. Oh no, 0 drops. Ah, fuck. 0 drops are way too high. Otherwise, this was almost good. 95 to 55. And here we had 95 to 55. Yes. Yes, okay. But fucking 0 drops. No. Okay. And boom. 26 0 drops once again. 3 drops. No. No, that's not how it works. That's not how the game mechanic works. Obviously not. You wouldn't be seeing that distribution then. Okay, well, but that gives me something to think about how and read up upon, because I guess that information is out there somewhere, how the drop system actually steps through the process of getting runes. Yeah, some reading to do. And let's get rolling on some UI. Okay, I think these are the button basics I need for the big buttons. Not quite sure though. It's a long time since I did this last. So when we create this thing, we are just giving it a mode variable, a isHovered variable, and isClicked variable. And set those to false, and the mode is just a standard one, it's just the initialization. That can be overridden at any point when we are actually creating the asset. It's just such that we do have the mode as a variable in here. Then we have left pressed, so if the left mouse button is pressed on while being on the object, then we do want to play the sound, but only if it's not in passive mode. Because if it's in passive mode, then there should be no clicking sound. So I don't know how this command works at all. It just needed some stuff. Like I'm sure that it selects the correct sound file here, but I'm not sure about this priority, and this is looping. I assume 0 is for no looping. Should check out the manual actually to see how this works. But I shall only do that like a proper man if it doesn't work. So, left released. If the left mouse button is released on the button itself, then we activate the isClicked variable. And this is on the frame. So my plan here is to have a UI managing object that has a list of the buttons which it continuously checks if there's something going on with them. And if one was clicked, then it sets it to false again and reshuffles the modes accordingly. So yeah, that is for the big buttons, the case for the big buttons, because they have different, like if one is selected, then the others need to be deselected. And maybe if one is selected, then others need to be made passive. So it's a little bit more complex with the big buttons. But okay, so isClicked is true, but only if it wasn't passive before. Then we have just a hover status. Is it on hover or off hover? And that should switch around the image as well. I think the hovering should be a thing that just is managed by the button itself, so that the UI manager doesn't have to do that. And that is pretty simple. When the mouse enters and the button is not set to passive, then the sprite index should be changed to 2. Okay, and isHovered is true. I don't know if we need that variable, maybe for something else later on. And if the mouse leaves, the isHovered is set to false, yes. If the like again, if it's not passive, and if the mode is not in selected, like if the button isn't supposed to be hot, then the sprite index is set back to 1, which is the normal mode. So my newbie plan right now is that we're going to use this big button as a parent to all our small children buttons, and no, still large big buttons, but they are the children, and make this one the parent, so that we get all this functionality assigned to our children, and then for the children we actually select the appropriate sprite or series of sprites. Yeah, I think that should work, and then we just need to give them appropriate names. Okay, so what I've done so far is to create a new UI layer that is beneath the instance layer, and I have made a few children to the big button. So you can see the parent is the big button, so they like this one brings all these events which we have made previously, and now we have assigned the correct button sprite to this, and now I will be placing these objects down on the UI on the on this layer. Let's see, that should be actually possible to do. Oh no, I do want to do it with actual code. Okay. Okay, so I've renamed them accordingly to according to my conventions, so that they are not getting lost. And now I have added to the creation event that these buttons are created on the UI layer. Okay, so far so good. So let's try it out if this crashes horribly, or if these buttons actually appear. I haven't spaced them correctly and not placed them correctly, but they should appear. Yay! Oh, oh, whoa! Whoa, this is all over the place. What's going on? They're not supposed to turn into check marks. So shit. What have I done? What have I done? This is not correct. I think I might have been using the wrong variable there. Not sprite index, but rather image index. Your sprite index 1, if we look here, like 0, 1 is the check mark, 2 is the hell button. Aha! That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. That is why it was behaving that weirdly. And if I just use the image index instead, I think that solves it. Okay, oh, there's still a check mark, but... Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that! Oh, we did hear a sound! Yes! Oh, there's nothing that actually selects them yet. But yeah, that is to be expected. And this one I haven't properly changed, it seems. But yeah, oh, getting there. So it was not my mistake with actually... making the parenting and stuff before, but it was using the wrong variable in there. So I'm going to remake this as children, because I don't want to go through every single button if I want to change any of these core features. That would be stupid. So now that all the buttons are done, all the big buttons are done, I can add them to the creation event for the UI manager, and now the only thing I need to do should be to actually place them in the right spots, for which I need my draft, and just note down the numbers real quick, the Y numbers, because they are all starting at 30 pixels, I believe, and then I need to do the actual UI management, because this UI manager is currently a little lazy and just puts them on there and then doesn't do anything with them. And that also means that I will have to save them as a variable so that I can easily access their data, so their modes and so on, so that I can set them individually to different modes. If, for instance, the nightmare button is pressed and previously the normal button was pressed, then I need to set the normal button to state 1 and the nightmare button to state 2 and all that good stuff. Alright, let me do that. Okay, I think this might be a good test case. So I've made some button objects here now. And that is so I'm creating a new object that is the button, and I'm placing it at a certain spot, and that object is saved as this variable. So if I, for instance, have now this one, button results, I can then just dot the mode of it and set it to 0, which should turn it passive. So all the buttons should have a standard cold look now, except for the last one, which should be passive. Let's see if that actually works. Here we go. Oh, it's looking right. This is looking exactly like our draft. Beautiful, beautiful. I think I want to have some kind of sound effect when entering as well. Yeah, probably some. That is what I'm going to use the other sound for. I'm going to just scale down its volume a lot, and then I'm going to use it as a hover over, like tick. But this, damn it. Okay, it is working in the sense that it doesn't have a hover over highlight, but it's not working in the way of setting its. Oh, and why would it? I mean, we're setting the sprite according to, not according to the mode it's currently in. It doesn't auto-update itself. Alright, there's more work to do there, but this is already really nice. And actually, do you see this 1 pixel change when we are on hover or selecting them? Well, it wasn't planned, but that sure is really nice. I should have done that from the start. Alright, so the manager now does button management. Or at least I hope so. This should work. I haven't tried it yet, obviously, as you've seen. But what basically happens is that we check the isClicked flag, and if that one is true, then we know, oh, well, this button has been clicked, so the other one needs to be deactivated. But first, we switch its mode into 2, in case we need that at some point. I don't know. I think I've messed it up a little bit here, but there are more elegant solutions, I'm sure, and people will be pointing them out, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter for a simple thing which is not very performance, let's say, where performance isn't as relevant as for like an operating system. Anyway, so we have then switched the image index to 2, which means the hot mode, if this one is clicked. And remember, this flag can only be set if the button isn't passive to start with. So that protects us there already. That is what the button takes care of, the button object, or the parent rather. And then we have, for the other button in this selection, in this group of buttons, we get back to selecting the cold state for image and mode. And this is the same for the difficulty levels. So normal, nightmare and hell. But of course we have to reset 2 of the buttons instead of just 1. There will be some more complicated logic for the results and the setup page. That is for sure. Because while things are running, you, like while the simulation is running, you shouldn't be able to switch over to setup. And the number of runs button goes into mode 2. So let's see what this looks like. And I've added the hover over sound effect as well. I hope it isn't set to super loud. I did lower its volume a lot. Okay. Yeah, so far, so good. So... Oh! Okay, it only plays... Oh no, it plays also... Yeah, okay. Oh no, error! There's an error. Damn it, you can't click shit. What? Read-only variable? Image number. On what line? Line 10, step, okay. Alright, let's figure it out. Yeah, well, that is stupid. Some variables I called image number, the others I called image index. Okay, clicking. Does it kill it? No, it doesn't. Yes, it works. Oh my god, it works. It doesn't sound too terrible either. I like the subtlety of it. And now it's fixed. Look. We can't enter the results page anymore by clicking setup first. Well, the others are working as intended, with highlighting and everything, and I added an exit button, which doesn't work yet. Need to add functionality to it. So, Herr Exit button, we need to add a check over here in the step for each frame. Is it just exit? Well, it would be logical if it was. Oh, let's just try it out, if that works. The computer nukes itself, yes. Oh, there we go, and... No! Okay. Quit, maybe? Ah, it is game end. Ew, description where you can end the game. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Escape. Oh, yeah, we should take this too. We should add the escape button as well. That's a smart thing to do. Alright, let's do both. So we have our escape or exit button there and the escape key. Is this the most annoying function to test? Oh, I need to highlight the setup thing as well. Yeah, it works! It works. And now let's test it with the escape key as well. And... Yep, perfect. Alright. There we have it. Maybe I should make it impossible to click again. So, like, if it's already in hot mode, or, yeah, if it's already selected, then the sound doesn't play. Yeah, I think that would be better. Yeah, it's so nice to be able to exit the game properly. Okay, I just added for the parent, I just added the if mode is not equal to 2 in front of the play audio for the hover over sound. Now let's see if that works better. Ow, I deactivated the wrong sound. It's getting late, guys, it's getting late. Yes, now I can click it without it being reselected like crazy. Alright, I'm really happy with what we have here. And I think for next time, after I have done some more thinking on the actual drop chances, which is kind of the most important thing about this whole, yeah, then we will do some more talking about the drop chances, and then we build the big UI for the rune selection. I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.